let's look at... I think this is the Love Life one.
Initial tweet are not.
Yeah, the Love Life one. Now, I know that they're going to shut down, but I don't know why they're shutting down or why it's the fastest. I have no idea. I only saw the title, and I think I clicked a little bit, saw Love Life, and then I left. Now, does it surprise me that Love Life is shutting down? I mean, maybe. How long have they been on for? I guess I'm going to find out, right? Welcome to the fastest gacha shutdown. Isn't there a gacha that shut down for like a day after? Hasn't released yet. What?
We've been covering gacha game shutdowns for the better half of a year. Yet never have we covered a game that had a global version announced and an end of service announced in the same tweet. Love Live, School Idol Festival 2, Miracle Live. Oh my god, that is a lot of words for a title. I feel like
we are excited to break the news to you that the global version of Love Live School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live is launching soon in February 2024. However, we also want to inform you that the global version will close indoors on May 31 and since in-app purchases accordingly. What? Hey, how does that even work? You release it for... Wait, when is it? Soon in February. It's gonna be like a month. Less than a month. No, it's gonna be over a month. Of the gacha. What? How? Aren't you supposed to close it because it's not doing too well? You haven't even released it. How do you know it's not going to do well? Is it because of prior registrations, maybe? 3 months of testing the market, seeing people actually pay. To be honest, like, Love Life probably doesn't work that well outside of, like, countries like Korea and China and Japan, because they have a much more like idol culture than like the you know, the music idol culture than the rest of the world has. We don't, like, the rest of the world, the Western part doesn't really care that much about the whole music idol as much as they do. So I imagine that it doesn't surprise me that this game probably doesn't do that well outside of Japan. It's kind of the same like the Horse Girls gacha, which does really well in Japan, but I'm pretty sure if it were to be released in like Korea and even China and the global, it wouldn't do that well because it's just not part of the culture. Because Japan has the horse racing culture, whereas the rest of the world, you know, it's not as big of a deal. Still, like, this is that is something, all right. That is the definition of a cash grab. Hey guys, we're gonna release this game, but just telling you, FYI, we're gonna close it. I wonder if this is also like a marketing strategy, right? Because I feel like even if you know the deadline, you wouldn't release this information unless, and this is what I think they might be hoping that they can do, is maybe they're hoping that the people that are really fanatics about this type of stuff, about this type of genre, will like dump money into the gacha in hopes of like persuading the executives from closing the game because suddenly there's like this influx of money, right? That could be a strategy. Hey guys, we're gonna close the game in like a month, and then everyone's like, wait, no, we don't want to close you, so we're gonna dump you money to maybe so that you can not close the game. That could be the strategy, and I'm pretty sure that is the strategy, but I'm also pretty sure they're gonna close it anyway, unless it's like, you know, unless it like manages to get to the top with like Honkai and Genshin. But that's not going to happen. This game, I'm pretty sure this game does not have even gameplay to begin with. It's a very generic gacha game. But I don't actually know the gameplay. It might have.
They just kind of threw in as many as they could. Global launch notice.
Yeah, but this
We're
is
excited to break the news to you that the global version of Love Live School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live is launching soon in February 2024. However, we also want to inform you that the global version will also close its doors on May 31st, 2024, and cease in-app purchases accordingly. It is launching in February and shutting down in May. Because literally the game is going to be online for 3 entire months. Who is going to play this?
Oh, 3 months, never mind. I do not know how to count. Right, because it's February, March, not February, May.
Who would
I always get
willingly
May
go
and
into
March
this game?
mixed up.
Who would willingly spend money in this game knowing it closes in 3 months?
I know lots of people who would do that. Well, I don't know them personally, but I know that there's a type of person who do not care and would do it anyway. And also, another point that you might not be aware, a lot of people don't even look at news. They will not even be aware that the game is closing down, and they will spend money because they don't know it's closing down.
It just what? How is that a good business strategy? We appreciate the love and support you've shown, and we're committed to making...
Yeah, but it is a very weird business strategy. I feel like, again, this is not something you would do unless you are really, like, trying to hook, like, those people that are, like, fanatics and who do not want the game to close down. I feel like that's the only reason as to why you wouldn't make this announcement. Because otherwise, you wouldn't even make this announcement. You would, launch the game, it's going to close down, but, you wait it out until, like a month or like a week before you close down. You make the announcement, and then you close. And then you were able to milk more money because people thought the game would be around. However, by doing this, there are more eyes on them now. So this could also just be, again, the strategy of just let's attract the fanatics. Because now everyone knows about the game just because of this silly announcement of it closing before the game is even out.
These last few months, an unforgettable moment. The last few months, it hasn't even launched yet. What? This is 9
million views. Like, I have to say, like, if this is a incredible marketing strategy. If this was just a post about launching the game, it would not even get to 1 million views. The fact that it has both a launch and a closing, it managed to get 9 million views. Probably is way more now because it's been like what, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days from this post. So, yeah, this might actually have been a genius market ploy from the market department, because now everyone knows about this silly game.
Million views, 15,000 likes, 22,000 retweets. What's worse is that they're advertising the game. They're advertising the pre-registrations for the global version, and they're not, other than the first initial tweet, are not mentioning the game is going to be end of servicing in May. So these people, 217,000.
Another thing is, I don't know if another thing that's interesting, and this is something that I'm curious, do they now that they've already sent the notice that they're closing down the game, do they even need to send it again when they're close to the date? I don't know if they need to send it again when they're close to the date, because they've already announced the end of service. So this could also just be, yeah, it does feel like it is just a ploy to get all the fanatics. They spend the money and then they just close the game and get all the money. That feels like what it is. Because now there's probably going to be a bunch of people going to play the game just to dump money and try to save the game. I don't even know what the game is like, though. I hope he shows what the gameplay is.
There are
I don't think there's much gameplay, though.
Are going to go into the game, that are going to spend in the game and have absolutely no idea the game is shutting down in 3 months. It is 100%, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Shutting down.
Yeah. I mean, it's a gacha game.
Holy fuck. Oh my god. Now let's take a look at the comments and see what they're saying. Now, before we check the replies, let me take a moment here to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I
very
deeply
nice
appreciate all the
Patreons.
support. Now let's see this shitstorm. There's Kyrios. Wait, I'm confused. Yay and boo at the same time. First, all the delays. Now you announce a game is coming, only to be shut down in May. What is even the point? Massive insult to the community. That is very true. You're taking advantage of the community. You are going to milk them for every cent you possibly can.
Yeah.
Wow. Just wow. Oh yeah. Here I was. here is how I.
Is there any gameplay that's gonna show? Or is this it? Okay.
Has to say, you know they're going to be much more toxic. First
Reddit.
ever Gacha announcement paired with an end of service at the same time. Very impressive. If in-app purchases are enabled, this is possibly the first literal cash grab. A last-ditch effort to recuperate some of their investment costs from the dumbest 1% of Gacha.
Yeah. That is exactly what I said this is. This is exactly that. I mean, I wasn't as crude as that, but yeah. The Fanatics. I wouldn't even say dumbest, because that is assuming that they don't understand that they are spending money. It's Fanatics. It's completely different. Like, a dumb person is spending money without understanding that they're spending money. It's like, for example, it's like, let's say you get, let's say you make like 2,000 a month. I know for Americans that's like gonna be like insanely low, but like for me that's like, for like a Portuguese that's like way over double the minimum wage. But let's say you make 2,000 a month and then you spend like 80% of those 2,000 in just gachas. To the point where you are having difficulty living your life, paying rent, paying expenses, buying food. That's being a dumb gacha player, right? That's being a dumb gacha player. But if you make 10,000 and you spend like 20% of that in gachas, you're technically spending more than the other one, but are you really dumb? And when you're not, and you're not having any difficulties, then you're not really dumb. You're just, you're spending money on your hobby, because you could say that, well, gacha players are stupid because they pay money for, PNGs, of waifus, but what you want them to do is spend their money on alcohol and drink themselves to death, or on cigarettes and smoke themselves to death, or how about, I don't know, on hookers so they can get all the STDs. Like, it's a hobby, it's like, I think because I come from the Magic community, where people spend money on like cardboard cutouts with little paintings on them, I have a different perspective on spending money on stuff that doesn't really have any worth. Which is that at the end of the day, you're not really spending money because you like, when I spend money on a gacha, I'm not really doing it because I'm like, oh man, King Asan is really worth this money. Castoria was worth those $30. It's like, it's not really like that. I'm fully aware that a $30, like, power cost me $30. There is no world in which Castoria is worth the same as Palworld. That does not exist. However, I still spent pretty much the same for both. Technically, I spent less for Palworld because of the discount. So, little details. However, at the end of the day, why did I spend that money on Castoria, even though it's just a character in a gacha? And it's because it makes my gameplay more enjoyable. It's the same concept as to why you would spend money in Magic cards. Some people spend money because they think it's an investment, even though technically it's not, and they're always going to make less money than they actually put into the game. But other people, and I'm one of those included, we buy cards because we buy those cards so that we can play with them, which will then enrich the process of enjoying the game. It will just make the entire, hobby feel better, and that's kind of the deal. You're not spending money. I'm not spending money on Castoria because Castoria is worth the money. I'm spending money on Castoria because she will improve my enjoyment of the game. And so at the end of the day, I'm paying for entertainment. You know, it'd be like if I could spend that money on a Netflix show, you know, on that. I guess it's not a show, it'd be a subscription, and it'd be cheaper, technically speaking, you know. But at the end of the day, it's a different way to look at it. I get why people think it's dumb and why people don't really understand. And even I have difficulty understanding, like sometimes, especially when numbers start getting really high. Like I am still like, if it's like $30, $40, I can kind of like deal with it. But once it starts getting to like hundreds and above that, at that point I just start just shutting down. Even like Magic cards, I had like Black Lotus is worth I don't know how many thousands. I would not give like $100 for it because of I just don't see the value in it. Which I know for Magic players, they're going to find that absolutely ridiculous. But the important part is, at the end of the day, this game, the Love Life one, to me, it seems like they are targeting the fanatics, the people that really like this franchise. Which, to be fair, I know it's decently popular in Japan, and there is a community around it. You know, much like in Fate Stay Night, there's a community that's been always there and will always be there for a very long time. And it seems like this is their attempt at trying to get the fanatics to spend money in the game. Whether or not it is literally a cash grab, so they're going to just close it anyway, or if it does well enough, they'll keep it around, that's a different question. However, given they already did the announcement of closing the game, it does feel like it is just going to be a cash grab, and it is a cash grab. I mean, you announced the ending of service at the same time that you're announcing the release. I mean, that's literally a cash grab. You're literally telling, yeah, we're gonna close the game, but please spend money on us anyway. It's just a little bit weird, but I understand what they're doing, and I think it worked. That's the thing that's most people don't seem to understand. It's like, I think it worked because the Twitter post got 9 million views, at least 5 days ago. From 5 days ago, it had 9 million views, probably way over 10 millions at this point. So clearly, they got what they wanted. They got the attention, and they probably got a lot of eyes and a lot of people that are now interested to play the game that's going to be closed in like 3 months. So, yeah. I don't even know what I was talking about, to be honest. I kind of just went on a rant for no reason.
Gamers, please do not be in the category listed right here. Do not be in the 1% of dumbest gacha gamers. I've seen crazy end-of-service speedrun stories in over a decade of playing gacha games, but this has to be the first time I've seen an end-of-service announcement before we even get a service start date confirmation.
That's right, a very good point. That you only got the month it's going to release. You don't even know the date it's going to come out, but somehow you know the date of when it's going to close. Like, that is such an interesting situation.
Is very vague as February. Definitely one of the most unique things I've ever seen someone do. Nobody is gonna spend money on it.
Disagree. First of all, you're gonna have the fanatics who are gonna spend the money because they don't want the game to close, and they're hoping that by spending money, the game will do well enough to not close. Right? So you're gonna have those people, and then two. You'd be surprised at how many people don't look at the news and are just, they're doing their job. They get home, they're tired, they turn on their phone, they go to their little mobile game, and they just relax and have fun. And they don't care about the news. They don't care about what's going on. They just want to, relax and just chill. And there's a lot of people who are not going to know the game is going to close in 3 months. Unless the game literally just has it stumped right at whenever you get into the menu of the game. No, there's a lot of people who are not gonna know that the game is closing.
You'd be surprised. And that's the truth. That's why I said they were being kind of disingenuous, because you're gonna get into the game, and for the most part, there are probably gonna be hundreds of thousands or millions of people that get into the game. How many of those people are going to be aware that the game is shutting down May 31st. They're probably not going to.
Exactly. Like, most people don't live on Twitter. So most people are not even going to know the game is going to close.
The vast majority of people aren't going to know that the game is shutting down. So they're jumping into the game. They're expecting the game to have years worth of life. They're going to pour money into it. In 3 months from now, that's it. The game is going to shut down. They're going to lose their investment, their time investment.
There's no investment. I'm sorry. It's a gacha game. You're not investing on anything. The only thing you are doing is you're spending money for entertainment. There is it. Now, you could say that you invested in the gacha game hoping that it would last long enough to entertain you for much longer, right? And that's a good argument, right? You could spend money early on so that you get stuff early on in the gacha, so that then you can spend better time and more entertainment in the gacha. There's certain gachas that do that. Ecocalypse had their little permanent purchase that just makes your account 100 times better to play than if you don't have it. I think Mental Memory also was one that had that. Obviously, Isekai Slow Life is another one of those where you spend money to get stuff and to just improve your quality of playing the game. But, I can understand the concept of putting money into a gacha game is investment in the sense that you are investing in your entertainment for the future. But at the end of the day, you're spending money on the gacha. That game is not going to be there forever. Like, as I said, if tomorrow FGO closes, am I going to be sad? Yes. But am I going to bitch about it? No. Like, I'm fully aware that it's just a game that that I spent a lot of money on that I probably shouldn't have, but I did it anyway because of entertainment, and that's it. And if it closes, and I move on. So it doesn't really, I understand why a lot of gacha players say this, because again, I come from Magic, and I see a lot of people say the same in Magic the Gathering, where they buy cards that are way over expensive than for what they are, and then they rationalize that the reason why they get them is an investment, even though they just keep the cards in their binders collecting dust, never to sell them, and eventually those cards end up being worth nothing because reprints have come out, or they've been outscaled, or they stopped seeing any play, and but it was an investment. It was an investment, guys. Trust me, I know what I'm doing with my money. It's an investment. Oh man, I just have a different perspective on it. I understand if people think it's an investment. I don't really see it as an investment. I just see it as you're paying for entertainment.
Their financial
and
investment.
if you get the entertainment, then you got what you wanted. So,
And it's just very unfair. Again, this is very disingenuous of them to do. They are attempting to.
Is it shitty anyway? Yeah, it is shitty. Still, I don't think that this is something that should be done, and I still think it's a shitty thing for this gacha game to do. But it is a gacha game. They're predatory by nature. They literally use casino tactics.
Milk as much money as they possibly can, and it's disgusting. Like, I understand you want a return on your investment. I do, but hear me out here. Don't announce the game is shutting down before it launches, because you cannot expect people to want to play.
To be honest, though, isn't it better that they announced it? I mean, wouldn't it be much worse if they didn't announce it? They already knew they were going to close on May 31, and they just the game continues, and then 3 months after they just close it. Wouldn't that be much worse? I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's both sides are kind of bad, aren't they? Right? Because on one side, they could have just hidden the information, despite the fact they know they're gonna close, and they just kept the gacha going, and then they close it 3 months after, and everyone's sad because it didn't go too well. Meanwhile, if they're upfront and they go, guys, the game is not going too well already. We haven't even launched it, but the game is not going too well, so we're gonna close it. I feel like at least it's a little bit more upfront. However, the thing about people is people are not logical, people are sentimental. And people would rather deal with a well-mannered thief than than uh, than a rude, honest person, right? That's the issue. It's like people would rather deal with a well-mannered thief than have to deal with a rude, honest person. And I feel like this might... I don't think this is one of those situations. I still think that this is a marketing tactic to get the really fanatic people to spend money in the game to try and save it. But I do disagree the idea that that what they should have done is just hide the information. I think hiding the information is way worse because it means that they know they're going to close and they don't want to tell anyone they're going to close because they want to milk as much money as they can. So at the end of the day, I think whether or not they said it or not, there was never really a winning position. They were going to be on the losing side either way. So they just decided, you know what, we're going to go with this.
Spend money on it. You could have left this game going for a year and then announced its closure. You could have left it going for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months.
But they're not. They're going to be sending it for 3 months. Like, that's decided. The fact that like, you can't go like, well, you could have just kept it for like a year. I was like, hold on. They're not, though. It's already decided it's not going to be staying for a year. So you can't be like, you could have just hidden the information and kept it for like a year. It's like, you mean they could have just not closed the game? Is what you mean? If they're closing it, it's because not making any money, and it's not making... They predict that it's not going to be making enough money to compensate. But they already have enough of a product to release. And so they're releasing it to kind of make money back, and they're going to close it. And look, at the end of the day, I think that if the game makes enough money, if it makes a lot of money, it is going to stay for a little bit longer. Do I think it's going to make that much money? No. As far as I know, and we can check on that. Let's go to YouTube and let's check the gameplay. As far as I'm aware, this game's gameplay is really bad. Like, it's just a very old-fashioned gacha with barely any mechanics. Love Life... what's it called? Love Life School... Idol Festival 2, right? Festival 2 Miracle Live gameplay. Let's see some of the gameplay. What type of gameplay is this? I think it's loading. Let's see. Wait, is this a Guitar Hero game? You just have to tap. It is. That's it. This is the game. Though this was a mini game in Genshin. And it wasn't a very good one at that. Also, there's no sound now. I think this is copyrighted, so even the person removed the sound. Yeah, like this game is not gonna make any money. It's not gonna make enough money to keep around. It's like this is just, you know, there's so many better versions. Like I look at this, I'm like, what is this? This is the gameplay. Like, what's the point of the gacha here? Do they give you better points? Like, what is gacha even influence here? Do they give you more points if you manage to get them? Is that how this works? Like, how does this even work? This is the definition of a gacha that can only exist because of the franchise. Like, legitimately, this is a no game here. I think even Isekai Slow Life has has more of a game than this. Because I was like, what is the gacha's purpose here? Is it just literally just collectible of PNGs? Do they have no gameplay implication? But there's different rarities, so they should have gameplay implications. Like, can I see some stats? There's definitely some stats here, like HP. But like, I don't understand how that affects the gameplay I saw. Can I see a little bit more gameplay, maybe? Dude, this is... Yeah, nah. This game is not gonna make... Anyway, this is the definition of a niche game where only the people within that community are gonna play the game. I feel like even like normal gacha players are just gonna grab the game, they're gonna see the gameplay, and they're going to immediately shut it down. It's like immediately uninstall the game, because that is such a non-game. That's a mini game. That was a mini game in Genshin, and I think it's a mini game that Genshin frequently releases, and people don't generally care that much about it. It's like, what?
And then announce its closure. You're announcing its closure before it even launches, before we even have a definitive date. It's ridiculous. But I mean, but we are aiming for a record here to attempt to find an end of service announcement so absurd no gacha game will ever topple it, will ever overcome it in terms of absurdity. Right now, this...
I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a gacha game that end the service like the day after its release. I feel like there was a gacha that was like that. They had their end of service on the next day because it was so abysmal. And I feel like that one still tops it up, but I can't remember the name, so I can't really reference it. I mean, at the end of the day, this is still like 3 months of game. I mean, it's still ridiculous that it came, you know, the end date before you know the release date, though.
This is the crowned king. Love Live School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live. A game that announced a whole month ahead of its launch that it is shutting down 3 months after its launch. What the fuck? It's really early in the morning right now, so I don't have the lights on, but real quick, as I'm editing this, I noticed that the Japanese version of
Oh, is it also going to end? Is that what's happening? Oh, maybe that's what's happening. The Japanese version is ending, so they're also ending the English version. That might... Maybe? Let's see.
School Festival 2, Miracle Live, you know, the game we're talking about.
Yeah.
Posted an end of service announcement over on their website. This is not something that we as global players got. We got a tweet. Japanese players got a whole fucking message. So apparently the Japanese version of the game is also shutting down at 3.
Okay, that's different. So that is a completely different situation. So here's my guess of what actually happened behind scenes. This isn't even a situation. Now that we know this is not even a situation of a cash grab. What most likely happened is you have the Japanese people that are working on the game, and then you have the global people that are working on the game. You know, they're working together because they have to, obviously, translations and, you know, passing information. But overall, the people that are working on global, they're just doing the translations. They're kind of preparing everything, you know, changing the characters, maybe changing some sayings here and there because of censorship or whatever. And these sayings take months, right? These sayings take months. And what most likely happened is that they already had a release date for the game, or everything planned out, and then out of nowhere, here comes the Japanese group saying, hey, we're closing our game this date. we're closing our game. We're not going to provide any more service, and that includes the global version. So this is the end date. And now the global team has to, is in this situation where they have the release date, they have everything prepared, but they're going to have to close it on March 31. Now, this is what it seems to me the case is. It's just Japanese version's ending. The people there probably don't want to be, sustaining the global version since they're just closing doors. Maybe they're going to prepare for another Gacha version, School Festival 3. And they don't want to be spending time maintaining the global version. And they just had to release it. This is what it seems to me, which makes it less scummy and makes it a little bit more sad. Because I imagine that the global team that worked on the game are not, very happy about the situation. This is me obviously being the devil's advocate, because it's such a ridiculous saying, having the end date and the release date on the same tweet, that it does feel like there needs to be this explanation that's better than just, oh, they're greedy. I don't think, oh, they're greedy really works with what they did, because it doesn't feel like it's that greedy.
PM on Sunday, March 31st. So not only is it shutting down not only is the global version shutting down, but the Japanese version is also shutting down. We'd like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for enjoying the game so far. We're sorry to make this kind of report regarding the game, whose mission was to let you enjoy the series songs in a rhythm game. In the future, we'll implement in-game campaigns, I'm tired, I'm sorry, and events so that everyone can enjoy it until the end. They plan on releasing a local version where you can review the members and I guess the songs that you obtained after the game shuts down. It says the rhythm game part will not be implemented in the local version. Okay, so maybe you're not going to be able to see the music. There's only a short time left, but love live until the end. So they're like, we're shutting down the game in March. We're launching the game globally in February, shutting that down in May. But please play the game. Please, we beg of you, play our game before we shut it down. We need as much money as we can get. Now, if Love Live School Idol Festival 2 America Live is not a gacha game that you're at all interested in.
Okay, that was a interesting situation. I mean, I think I talked about everything already I had to say about it. I didn't know that was that they had released the end of service on the same post of the release date. I mean, I get why the video was fastest gacha shut down, but now that we know that the Japanese version is also closing down, I think it puts a little bit more light on the situation that it's probably not as cash grabby as people might assume. And it's just a situation of contracts. Because that's another thing people don't realize about contracts. It probably states in the contract that the people that are localizing signed that they have to release the game, right? That the game has to be released in X date or around X date, right? And so even though the game is closing down, they probably are obligated to release the game, because on contract they have to release the game even though the game is closing. So there's a lot of small little gears, of legal gears that are working behind the scenes that probably are resulting in this very weird situation. But again, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. At the end of the day, it's a very niche game, and people will spend money where they want, even if it means that it will build a bad precedent. But, what can you do about that, right? You can't really police people's behavior, so you kind of just have to accept it and try to avoid it. But, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, But it is what it is. I'm sure the people that like the game that like the franchise are still going to play and probably still going to spend money because they want to give money to the company. Maybe they want to invest for School Live 3.
1 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. No, not 4 yet. 4, 5.